Robin Slim Show.
Robin Slim Show. Thanks for having me. What's up?
Not a problem, John. John Gilligan, how you doing?
Very good.
Good,
Who's
good.
there today? Who are we talking to?
Got Rob,
It's just and Slim.
and
Basically, right now it's just Rob and Slim.
and we have an intern, but he's not in the room right now. He's outside smoking. He's a dirty smoker.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. I was just thinking about that today. When you smoke, you're willing to do almost anything. Man, to clean the bathroom if he's an intern. I've legitimately seen smokers standing next to the dumpsters outside in the back of a building, you know?
I'm a smoker too, but I'll blow it proudly in people's faces.
Yeah, I haven't had a cigarette in a couple of years, but I was proud of smoking.
Right? I don't give a shit. No, I'm not gonna be obnoxious with it, but I'm not gonna hide either. Like by a dumpster, no way. No way.
They're sticking people there. It's not even like people are hiding. The
Dude.
smoking section is shrinking.
Yeah, you can't even like at jobs they tell you to way on the side of the building type of shit.
Wow.
I remember one of my friends worked in a printing plant where you couldn't smoke anywhere on the property. This guy had to drive off the property of work just to have a cigarette.
You got 5 minute cigarette break.
Yeah.
And fucking drive
You gotta drive 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
I would have 3 cigarettes.
Dude, how's Vegas?
I love cigarettes.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
I love
Vegas.
it.
Vegas is strong, man. The people are incredible. I've never seen anything like this, and I've been through a few tragedies.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Between fucking like natural disasters and then this shit, like it's been a fucked up couple weeks. But yeah. It's
Oh,
like,
absolutely, and I think we need to talk about it. I think people want to clear the air and hear what's going on. Like, where you guys are in Barnegat still?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're Barnegat, New Jersey, around that area. That's why I didn't know. Did like the whole strip shut down like during that incident, or like how did it go down?
Okay, you guys, being from New Jersey, it might be easy to use words like north and south, but I was at the Tropicana with my wife, and in the Tropicana is a laugh factory, so we went to see my friend Alex Powers.
Okay.
We left there at 10 o'clock and drove in between Mandalay Bay and this open field where they had the concert at like 5 after. A few minutes later, this guy opened fire, and we were on the highway and had no idea. We were just joking and laughing on the way home, and my friend Alex is calling me, "Oh, my God, are you guys all right? What are you talking about?"
Wow.
So this guy busted out the windows and started firing down across the street with pretty much heavy-duty military hardware into a crowd of 22,000 people. We're lucky that that's all that he got.
They said he had acquired them over 20 years. Like he compiled all this collection of guns over 20 years, I think.
You see, now that I got to wait, and I don't want to comment on that because I've heard that this is only the last few years. His brother was in Florida saying, "Oh, no, he's not a gun guy." But my brother's in Manhattan, and he wouldn't know if I was a gun guy or not. I have a couple of guns.
Yeah.
I inherited them. One was my grandfather's rifle from World War I. One was my dad's off-duty pistol. He was a New York cop. But at 2 guns, people are like, "You're a fanatic. You're a collector."
Yeah.
I'm not.
No.
I have a couple of antiques for the most part.
Yeah, that's a showpiece. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, so you don't know, like, I've met rich people who have spent $10,000-$20,000 on machine guns from World War II, and it's just part of the pride of their collection.
Yeah, that's like having a suit of armor in the house or something. Yeah, that's
Exactly. For many people, I had an uncle who had a machine gun that was turned into a lamp. He had a lot of memorabilia in World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't know at what point. My question is this, like, there's a lot of speculation, as with anything like this, but maybe this guy was on a new medication that just made him snap.
Yeah.
I've seen commercials that, like, you guys know I had a heart attack because of a drug. How do we know that this guy wasn't doing the crazy gambling because of one of them?
Yeah.
Right.
How did it? Did they know how he got him in the hotel? Like, did he just?
That's easy. I mean,
Is that-
you could get anything you want into a hotel
Okay.
up until last week.
I didn't know if
I
they.
mean, let's just imagine it like this. You take the guns apart and you put them in suitcases and you pull up and tell the guy, "Let me borrow your luggage card. I have 6 suitcases. My family's coming in 2 hours."
Okay, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know
That's
how
the end of
hard
your
that would be to
questions,
do.
yeah.
Okay.
But you can walk through with gun cases in Las Vegas because there are gun shows so frequently.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
hard to tell the difference. Yeah, it's legal to have a gun. I can walk around with one in a holster on my hip as long as everybody can see it. I can wear a shoulder holster like some kind of gangster.
Yeah, I know Virginia's like that. Even if you don't have a license, you're allowed to walk around with one as long as it's not loaded. You can still walk around with one.
Yeah. There are some pretty incredible laws in this country, and Chicago has the stiffest laws.
Yeah.
And the most murders. So I don't know that the gun control argument is a valid argument at this point. I personally feel that we need to talk about mental health and free health care for people who have mental health issues.
I agree. That's I know it's a cliche saying, but yeah, when all guns are illegal, only the criminals will have them, and it's true. It's fucking true.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You're never going to stop people from having guns. I'm pretty sure that there are cartel members out there with more guns than this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I was kind of blown away, too, when I saw his age. He's 65, this guy.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, he's an older dude. And it was weird because I was talking to one of my buddies about it, and I'm like, you see a lot of, like, the younger kids doing these things.
Yeah.
Like the 22.
Like 20-something.
And, like, in that age, I understand there's a lot of emotion, but then, like, when you're 65, like, that's really bizarre.
Yeah.
To then just decide.
Right. That's why I would
it does
think
really
medication or a tumor.
Yeah.
Something
really
caused it. Because that guy should have been all right by that. But
you went 65 years in your life not killing anybody, so it's like,
fuck.
Yeah, or yourself, and being a millionaire, like the guy owned airplanes and a few homes in a few places.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know that. Wow. Fuck. Yeah, I've been trying to stay away from the story just because it's so fucking depressing, but I did look a little up.
Yeah.
I did look a little up. I didn't want to sound like, completely ignorant about it, but yeah, I didn't know that, though. Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Monday, after all the news started coming out, I just had an open house and invited the young comedians over. They need somebody to talk to about this. People are confused.
Yeah.
It's not good for young children to find this stuff out. My wife's an educator. 2 of the kids in her school, 2 different grades, same father. He was shot. He's okay, but that doesn't help the kid.
No.
Eddie didn't come home last night because he's in the hospital because a madman shot him. Where are the madmen? Is there more?
Right? You don't even know. You don't even know.
Wow. There's going to be a lot of kids eating pizza for 30 days. Like, let's just get pizza again.
Yeah.
Do they shut the schools down for something like that, or?
I don't think so, right?
Just the first day they shut down the extracurricular activities afterwards because so many people were impacted, and so they had to shut Las Vegas Boulevard down for a day or 2.
Wow, that's what I was going to ask.
They kept everybody's car in a lot where people were hiding. There's blood stains. There's all kinds of stuff. They had to go through every bit of evidence.
Wow. I saw a lot of celebrities. I saw Mike Tyson, Kid Rock, Dana White, all donating a lot of money to the victims.
Dana White became my new hero yesterday. He was on television, and he said, listen, here's $1 million. I've done the math. 500 and something people have been shot. It's $1,600 a person. The rest of you people in Las Vegas with money, and you know who you are, better start coughing up if you want to keep your esteem. You know who you are, and I know who you are. Don't make me say names next time I'm on TV.
Wow.
Right on.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he knows. He was just a regular average guy 15 years ago, and then he had some great ideas and some great management with that UFC. And now they're all very wealthy.
I heard Tyson in an interview say, after his boxing career, shit out, I heard him say he was clipping coupons at one point and paying in change for groceries. Like, he was really struggling for a while.
Yeah, that Don King stole a couple of $100 million from Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he really did him dirty. He really did him dirty. Yup. And then it was like I think it was the acting and the book that really brought him back.
Yeah, he's got that one-man show. He's a very engaging and intelligent-sounding person.
Yeah, he's got a cartoon also on Adult Swim, which I love. It's just called Mike Tyson's Mysteries, but it's got Norm Macdonald. It's got a couple big comedians as voice actors. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I met the guy once, and he was great to me.
Yeah. Like I've heard interviews of him, and he interviews great. Like that's a guy that you'd probably pay money to just hear him talk. Like, he's really.
Yeah, he educated himself. I got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wouldn't want to listen to Conor McGregor for an hour.
John, are you doing a podcast called Two Dopes Podcast?
No, we tried to get that off the ground and never really panned out for us.
Oh, no, okay.
So
I saw a couple clips.
There's
I was
a new
laughing.
name and a new direction coming up. We're starting to film stuff on Friday for it.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. I'll have to, now that we're on the 6-month rotation, I'll have to call you back. They let me sit in as the co-host. I see you have Jaybird at 9:30.
Yeah.
Radio Vegas Rocks. I sat in with him for about 8 or 9 months on his rocking comedy show. I had a great time.
Cool. Yeah, he's a good dude. We're on one of the we're
in the
on
morning.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think like a week ago I saw he posted like the top shows, and I think we were like the number 3. I was so
right
proud
on.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a really
Las
cool
Vegas is big on podcasts.
That's
and
awesome.
They're just indicative of the rest of the country.
That's cool.
Everybody is tired of the radio. It's the commercials that get to them.
That even on satellite radio, it's like it's just not.
Yeah, listening to the DJs talk enough gets to be enough.
And then you're paying for it, and yeah, it's kind of crappy. But yeah, that's why it seems everyone's going the podcast world.
Yeah, so the thing about me is, as a comedian, I had some footage out there it probably shouldn't have been out there. You know what I mean? Like now I'm at a point where I'm ready to start putting footage out.
Cool.
As a comedian.
But
if I'm gonna,
we talked to a guy once. I think he said. I'm sorry. I think he said once he was ready to go on like Leno, he wouldn't put out a clip.
Right on. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You think you're funny, you think you're doing well, and every month you find a way to improve.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you realize that stuff I had 2 years ago is kind of garbage compared to now.
Yeah.
So what's the story? What's the story with the footage that you had out there that you think shouldn't have been out there?
It's not that I shouldn't. It's just that it wasn't ready for the public to go looking at. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There were some shows I did in Holland a couple of years ago. They're fun shows, but I was newer at it.
Okay.
And you can tell when you're a booker or a comedy club owner and you see a newer guy doing comedy, it's obvious to you. There are things that we do as new comics that give us away.
Would that be one of your...
now,
I was going to ask if you had to give advice to a new comic. Is that what you would tell them? Just wait on uploading clips?
If somebody wanted to take advice from me, it would just be slow it down. Comedy has a spot for you, and you'll be featuring within a few years, and you'll be headlining a few years after that, but don't push either one of those. I've seen a lot of people who have 7, 8, 9 minutes and tell somebody they can do 15 to 20, thinking they'll fake their way through it, and then you don't get booked again when you bail early.
Yeah.
And it takes you a little while, maybe a year or two, to get over a gaffe like that.
Yeah.
But if you allow comedy to happen to you, then people hear your name and find out what you're doing. I mean, there's guys that I run into out here. They've been doing it 5, 6, 7 years. I'm like, you're not going anywhere. It's terrible stuff. We had one guy who just celebrated his 17th anniversary as an open mic comedian.
Wow, I think I would call it quits way before then.
Yeah, he thinks he's just taking it easy and getting ready to go where he needs to go. And he's been doing open mics for 17 years. Somebody gave him $10 to go on stage recently just so he could say he got paid after all this.
Is he any good at this
it.
point? Like,
no.
Is he a good comic at this point? Or no,
not even.
So he's a guy that he did the time, but he should have just gave up.
He did the time and the crime.
Yeah. One of his favorite jokes is that, and I can quote this, I've seen it so many times, "We will never cure the unemployment problem in America until every person gets their acre."
Huh?
I don't get it.
Yeah. and I quote, he says, "Well, I'm a political humorist, and it's not my job to make you laugh." Yes, it is. You only have one job.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So when would you tell like somebody to give it up? Like after like how many years?
That's the thing. Like, are you allowed to, without sounding mean? Are people like? This is back to the mental illness thing. We had a guy in Oregon who got clubbed in the head with a bat because he didn't want to let somebody on stage because he thought the guy shouldn't do comedy anymore.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Holy fuck.
He ended up in the hospital because this guy came out and bashed him pretty good.
That's why I don't think you can tell anybody anymore what they can or should or shouldn't do. You can't. It's so different. So different nowadays.
It really is. So, like, people ask me for advice, and I have to decline. I can't give you any advice except to sound more like me, so I find you amusing.
Nice.
But I have to say about the Las Vegas open mic scene really creates some strong comedians.
Yeah.
If they survive, they've survived hell.
Yeah. Who's one of the strongest you've seen come up from that?
Oh, that's a great question. Joe Calise is probably one of my favorites. He started in Texas and came out here.
Okay.
Joe Calise, Caliz. Joe Calise is a genius and probably one of the absolute funniest comedians I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
Yeah, a guy named Bobby Wayne Stotts is another one. He's a local here. Just absolute powerhouse.
Cool.
So
yeah, Brent Tobler, and there's a few who really, really shine.
what do you mean by they survived hell? Like, what's an example of what they went through to get?
Well, like just for example, out in New Jersey, if you go to an open mic, there's bound to be 15 or 20 people watching, aside from the comedians. Out here in Las Vegas, you just have comedians, and if there's anybody else in the building, they're playing video poker. They don't care about you.
Oh.
Okay.
If you can crack up a room full of comics for a couple of years, that's a gift.
That's cool.
Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a combination of the poise, the commanding presence. There's a lot required to... If you can get them to stop playing video poker and look you in the eye, you've won.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Yeah, that's gotta be.
But now I've heard of other comedians say things like this comic was he was a comics comic. Do you find that a lot where there's certain comedians that they don't make regular people laugh, but they make comedians laugh?
There's both, yeah. It's funny. Like I know a couple of people who just make everybody laugh regardless. You know, and comics are so jaded that as soon as you say something, I'm listening to hear, was that a joke I heard when I was in the Navy? Like, what the hell is this guy doing? You're very, very picky.
Yeah, I've heard comedians can be really tough on other comedians.
Yeah, they're a horrible, horrible crowd. They really.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them out there, and I'm not saying it's a majority, there's just a lot of thieves. If something works for you, they might want to borrow that.
Yeah. What about thieves that get far, like Mencia? Yeah, like he had a show, and then Joe Rogan exposed him for stealing. Like, how do they slip through the cracks that long?
That's a combination of factors with Carlos. He's actually a great guy, and he had a lot of problems about it. He had writers who gave him this stuff. He didn't actually go out and steal it actively.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Same with Amy Schumer's accusations. Like, anytime somebody gets big fast, people need to, not always, but, you know, like people need to help them prepare for that hour special.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You take Jim Gaffigan, he'll write that in 3 weeks.
Yeah. He's an animal, man. Every time I watch one of his specials, I don't even stop laughing. Like, you feel like you're losing your fucking mind because you're laughing nonstop at him.
You feel like he's talking directly to you too, including everybody else.
Yeah, he's
like when you laugh at Jim Gaffigan, you look at other people to confirm it. Like, that's fucking for real.
He's got a gift. It's like psychosis, and it's amazing. It's amazing what he has.
Yeah. So when you're newer, like, you know, I'm guessing some of these guys didn't really have an hour, and people fluffed him up a little bit.
Okay.
But, Carlos Mencia ended up having a lot of problems with that. He felt terrible about it.
Oh, wow.
But when somebody comes and confronts you on stage, you have to defend yourself. You can't just bow down and puss out.
Yeah.
That would ruin you.
Yeah.
So he's still making millions of dollars a year.
Okay.
But the question is, like with some of these jokes, who wrote them?
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know stuff about my back surgery or my heart attack actually happened to me, and I can tell those. And then there's other ones that you hear and you're like, that's a cruise ship kind of joke.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite comedians, like you said, are the ones that tell something from their life, like Louis C.K. I find him he just talks about his own life so much. Like you can't make that up. You can't steal that.
Yeah. And he's a phenomenon. He's a beast. He's been doing it for 30-something years.
Yeah. That's my favorite kind of stuff. Just your own life.
For real. When you have somebody out there telling the truth, it's always more memorable.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure, too, I also heard of I forget who it was, but there was one comic who was saying that, or one of the comics that this person knew would actually go out of their way to, like, call other comics and be like, hey, I came up with this new joke. Do you have something similar to that? I just want to make sure, like, I'm not stealing, like, that there are people like that. And then there's other people, too, where they'll write a joke and then they'll be watching another comic and they're like, holy shit, I didn't steal your joke. It's just like really similar. I'm sorry. Like,
I've had that.
Absolutely. There are parallel trains of thought in so many instances of daily life that you've got to be careful calling somebody a thief.
And there's a lot of things that just aren't like not original. Like there's so many even
I think the one Amy Schumer had.
Yeah. Uber.
Yeah.
Any of those topics.
Exactly.
That's what you would consider to be open game.
I think even our national anthem is in English, like the music is from England, like
Yeah.
We plagiarized their whole song.
Yeah.
What was the one they were saying Amy Schumer stole from Patrice?
But that was just like sex positions.
Yeah, it
from,
was like the
Urban
Houdini,
Dictionary.
like yeah.
Yeah, that really wasn't.
And we played that game recently. I had people come on my Facebook page and just put two words together and see if you could make them sound dirty, like an Amish helipad or a Swedish Kleenex.
Yeah. Yep. Or a Tennessee log jammer.
A Tennessee log jammer.
See? You can just sit down and come up with 10 of them in an hour, and there's a new few minutes. But somebody else is going to want to turn around and say Amy Schumer did that.
Yeah, but stole it from Patrice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
who probably got it from George Carlin or Richard Pryor. Or...
Who stole it from Jesus.
Yeah, like when I was in Germany, I couldn't believe the amount of plagiarism that went on. There was only a few real comedy routines, and it was like all of the big names shared them.
Wow. So like overseas it happens a lot?
Yeah, they would come over here and steal jokes and go back, and nobody knows my jokes over there. It's easy.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, so there was a guy running around doing Sebastian Maniscalco's routine.
Oh, wow.
You got to chase somebody down in the Congo.
Yeah, my buddy just posted a picture. It was a video of him that was dubbed into Russian.
Oh, shit. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, John.
Yeah, there's some great stuff going on around here.
I wonder if anyone's stealing our shit. Probably not me.
Somebody else is playing just the too many rapes.
I don't know though, John. I look at our stats, and on our one podcast site, we have 3% plays in Mongolia. So I wonder what's going on over there in Mongolia.
Hello, Mongolia. Yeah.
Good morning,
Crazy
Mongolia.
Jay, when you get him on the show later, he's #1 in Croatia.
Oh, cool. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah. That was great.
Nice. John, we have to wrap this up, dude, but thank you so much for talking to us.
Man, you guys are great. I love talking to you guys. Let's just plan to do this again in February or March.
Absolutely, man. I will definitely hit you up for that.
Right on, guys. If you're that kind of person, pray for Vegas.
Yes.
People need some help out here, but they have enough food and water.
Cool. Where can everybody find you, John?
At John Gilligan 2, or on Facebook. send me a friend request. I'm always dumping somebody for being an idiot.
Who is John Gilligan 1?
I thought we talked about that.
That's a great question. We should all harass him until he gives me up the number.
Give up the name, John Gilligan 1. All right, John. Have a good one, brother.
Right on, guys. Great talking to you. I'll see you a bit.
All right, man.
Take care, John.
All right. Bye-bye.
Later. That's great. Give it up,
Yeah,
John
that's
Gilligan 1.